Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate our friends, as always, for bringing us here today. Online, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com is where you can find them. Or you can shop them online. But you can go down to LaPlace, Louisiana, and shop the lot, where you can check them out. Go Chevrolet. Great selection of trucks down there at Go. GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. We're going to talk about LSU baseball coming up here at 7:30 this morning. We're going to do that with Big Glen West from Go 247. We'll talk about the significance of Grant Taylor, who suffered a torn UCL and is going to be out for the 2023 season. The significance of that with Big G coming up here at 7:30 this morning. LSU obviously opening up the baseball season coming up this Friday night. Coach Jay Johnson was very high on Taylor throughout his offseason speaking tours. So we'll talk about that, what it means with Glen West coming up here at 7:30 this morning. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button, as Glen, the only guest that we have on the docket up to this point. So we will talk to him about LSU baseball starting on Friday. Then obviously LSU basketball tonight in Athens, desperate for a win. LSU men are, as they are losers of 10 straight, and they have a chance here tonight. It feels like they got a shot here tonight of possibly being able to pull off one here, as they've gotten blown out through this stretch. They've had some close games during this stretch. They have not had any breaks go their way, so maybe tonight's the night where they can find a little luck and catch a couple of bounces and see if they can't get a win to get another one here for conference play. As we said, South Carolina coming in later this weekend. They've only got 2 conference wins, so that'll be a battle of bad Saturday in Baton Rouge between 2 of the just bottom dwellers of the SEC. Remember, our phone lines are brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group, real doctors, real solutions. As Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan, every single day, proud supporters here of the Culotta Show. We appreciate them as always so very much. NFL season over, but really it never stops, right? As it goes right into, I believe, franchise tags, and the waiver wire is already up and moving. March 15th is actually the opening day of the NFL calendar, of the NFL season, as far as the business of the NFL is concerned. So coming up here, you'll have pro days, you'll have the combine, you'll have the draft coming up in April. So for as much as NFL football is gone from our television sets, we'll still be able to keep up with a lot of the business and a lot of the news. Also, the XFL gets going this weekend. So really, no sleep on football. I can't do it. I'm just not drawn to it. I can't really stick. I mean, it's tough for me to stick. If I'm being honest, it's tough for me to stick against, like the Texans and the Colts.
Yeah, I'm out.
I mean, like, I'm really out on that.
It's tough for me to watch bad college football.
Oh, I don't watch bad college football.
Low-level college football.
I don't watch bad college football. I think the only college football I can really watch is high-end
like SEC,
college football. Absolutely.
Big Ten,
absolutely.
maybe.
I mean, just a couple of Big Ten, Pac-10, Pac-12,
Big
12. I mean,
ACC I don't ever watch. Like I don't get there.
I mean, for as much as we clamor, for as much as we complain, for as much as we are desperate for football throughout the off season and the summer, when it gets here, it's really just the top tier teams that I really want to watch.
Same.
I mean, there's no way that the XFL could grab me. I mean, with a couple of LSU guys, I would pay attention.
I might like peep in and peep out.
I would pay attention. There's John Cherry Kirkland playing
John
for
Cherry
his squad.
Kirkland. Get some names out here because
it's
a decent amount.
It takes a lot for the XFL to, any type of minor league football to pull viewership. I mean, I hate to sound like a sports like a sports snob, but I mean, that's just kind of the reality of it now. I mean, I think it's come to a point where I just want to really watch the best.
I mean, you got some names here.
Hit
John
me.
Cherry Kirkland.
Hit me. Who's
Glen
the teams?
Logan.
Who's the teams?
Houston Roughnecks. This is the Houston Roughnecks. So you got John Cherry Kirkland, Glen Logan, and Kerry Vincent. And then San Antonio Brahmas, Brad Wing, Jamal Pettigrew, and Chidi Okiki.
Wow.
Yeah. St. Louis Battlehawks, Vidal Alexander.
Whatever happened to Chidi Okiki? Where did he go?
I don't know.
Where did he play? What a great name.
Vidal Alexander.
Okay.
St. Louis Battlehawks. DC Defenders, Cam Lewis. Arlington Renegades, Darren Evans, and Mali Tahima. So,
okay.
You got some names there.
Wow. How many teams are there? 8?
It's 8 teams. 2 divisions, 8 teams.
I mean, I'll have it on in the background some days.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that I would pay attention. It's really the offense that kills it.
Yeah. Do they run like the CFL type offense where they can like get the running starts at receiver and stuff, or is it?
I'm not sure on that. But I know that there are some rules to make it viewer friendly.
Yeah.
To make it
easy
to watch.
Do they not do like kickoff or something? Or like is the
I don't
kickoff
think they do kickoff.
like shorter?
Yeah. I mean, they're experimenting with some safety precautions of football. I mean, it's a great testing ground for the sport. It's a great place to train officials.
Yeah.
It's a great place to, I mean, it's minor league. It's a farm system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to. I just can't watch it.
Yeah, I'm not like.
I just can't.
I'm
I can't
not,
sit down and watch it. I mean, the only thing that ever pulled me in, from like a minor league standpoint, was the 3-on-3 with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
That's the only reason why I would watch, and that was just because I was so drawn to him.
Yeah.
Without him, I'm not watching.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just 3-on-3 basketball. I could go do that in the backyard.
So we will talk about Grant Taylor. This feels like this is a bit of a hit for LSU, a training, a staff, and a bullpen and a pitching rotation that was very deep. Grant Taylor was a name that consistently came up, whether it would be from Jay Johnson of talking about his progression on the mound throughout his first year and his off season, to hearing some of the things through fall ball that was going on with Taylor. Last year, he was 4-1 with a 5.8 ERA. He had 39 strikeouts and 31 innings on the mound. It sounded like during the fall and spring, he was touching nearly 100 miles an hour. I mean, he was about 98 consistently during some of the scrimmages in the numbers that were coming out. Now, obviously, with the UCL injury, this is going to be a long recovery for a pitcher. You hate it in the timing, obviously, for Taylor. But I think this is something that we'll have to pay, kind of mark down and pay attention to as far as how it's going to affect the season. I think that there was some potential that Taylor could have possibly been the closer on this team, right? And now look, LSU, the thing about LSU and obviously being number one in the country comes with a a talented team and a really full depth chart, and they're still left with a really nice selection of names. I mean, guys like Paul Skeens and Thatcher Hurd and Christian Little and Ty Floyd, and even got newcomers like Chase Shores, and Bryce Collins is a name that's even popped up over the last couple of weeks of somebody who's been pretty impressive throughout the winter. So this is a very talented pitching staff. I mean, this is definitely one that is very deep and should be able to deal with the loss of an arm like Taylor. But I think this is a blow, man. This is a hit. This is one that we're gonna have to, we'll go back to. You'll probably play a little bit of, man, you'd like to have Grant Taylor in that spot a couple of times this year. But like I said, I mean, they've got really good arms. Hearing really good thing about Chase Shores, man. I mean, he's touching nearly 100 miles an hour.
Freshman, like that's why I'm not like I understand Grant Taylor was like coming on. He's top 15 prospect in the Major League Baseball draft, but it's just like, I mean, with all these arms that Jay Johnson brought in, it's almost inevitable that somebody was gonna have to sit down anyway. So he'll find out who's the guy. So.
Right. You hate it for the reason of, look, I agree. There's going to be some odd people. There's going to be some odd arms out, right? And some very talented arms are going to be out. But you wish that they could just compete it out rather than an injury take one of these talented cats out, because now it's the road to recovery. It's the effect of what it really means to the competition. And you hate it for obviously for the individual, for the kid, man. I mean, for the player, just because, I mean, there was a lot of positive vibes around Grant Taylor over the last couple of weeks. So
it seems like this almost seems like a recurring thing with LSU baseball. Almost like every season, it's like one or two guys that kind of go down right before the season or get injured right before the season. They're kind of gimpy during the season.
There was a period in LSU baseball with Paul Maneri and Alan Dunn where it was almost like
inevitable.
It was voodoo. I mean, it was a curse. I mean, like they were taking so many precautions and doing so many things trying to prevent the arm injuries that were plaguing the program at the time. The more you get away from it, and I think that they've tried to, or they've started to find a balance on that stuff where it's not happening as routinely as it once was. I think this is almost like a knee injury in football.
Yeah,
like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I mean, you're throwing every day. You're putting a lot of strain on your arm, and the numbers that you have on the roster, at some point, someone is going to fall victim to this injury. And if you look around baseball, it's everywhere. Yeah. It is everywhere. I mean, even during that time where LSU was losing 2, 3, sometimes 4 arms a year, I mean, there were studies that were popping up, of that type of, research that was showing it was happening in a lot of places. And I think it has a lot to do with, baseball being a year-round sport now. I mean, I still cannot get over the amount of time that baseball takes up for a little leaguer. I mean, luckily, and I mean, I say luckily, but, Jordan and I have started to – he got a baseball glove for Christmas because he had been asking some baseball questions and – kind of wondering like, can we play baseball? And I'm like, sure. I mean, it's tough to find. So I called some people that I knew within, baseball circles, Doug Thompson, and, I got a friend, Gerald Nichols, who's really involved in youth baseball. And I was kind of looking to find a league that you could play 15, 20 games a year, kind of like they had around when I was growing up, where you didn't have to play year round. They have kids during basketball season, school basketball, this is like January and, early February, that are, leaving practice and, sprinting out of the gym on Saturday mornings to get across town for baseball practice in early January. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like, how does this not burn them out? Like, how do you expect them not to get to a point where it's really time to compete in the sport and not be burnt out when they've been playing year-round since they were 10? And, maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, my son doesn't play. He plays basketball year-round. He plays, winter basketball. He plays school basketball. Then he plays in a spring league. And then he plays summer, AAU. So we're in a basketball gym where everybody's on a baseball field. And, it's kind of probably the same thing. We're playing 7-on-7 football this year with Rohan. So, we got a ton of stuff going on as well. It's just the baseball, the amount of time that you commit to that sport, just not being in it. And I don't mean to complain from the outside. It seems like a lot. And I think that has an effect on, a lot of these guys breaking down when they get to college. By the time they get to college, they've run 1,000,000 miles on that arm. There's a lot of tread that's been taken off of that arm by the time they're 18, 19, 20 years old. And I think that has a part to go in and blame to why they're breaking down earlier than I don't know the studies, I don't know the numbers, I don't know, but it never seemed like it was really like this when I was a younger fan, right? And I wish there was a league. Like, when I was coming up, it was American Legion. We also played at the CYO field right here, a block away from our studio. But there's nowhere now that you can play, especially for a 12-year-old. There was when he was, 6, 7, 8. I think the cutoff was like 10. But you couldn't play just 15 to 25 baseball games Thursday through Sunday, right? Right over there at Olympia Stadium is where we played. And I'm telling you, it was some of the funnest memories that I have as a kid because it was the fences were in. You could hit home runs. You were playing with all your school buddies. There wasn't this pressure of traveling every weekend, spending all day at the ballpark, where I'm sure that's cool and I'm sure that's fun, but every single weekend from now until school starting next year don't sound like fun. Sounds expensive as hell too. But just going and like posting up at like the American Legion ballpark and playing a double header and calling it a weekend and doing that for the next, 8 weeks, next month and a half. Like, I wish that would revive itself locally.
I played Little League till I was 13.
Oh, dude, Little League was the funnest.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It was awesome.
Like, my friends now were my friends in Little League. Like, we've been playing together. Like, we've been knowing each other since Little League, since we were like 5, 6. It's just the best time. Like, it is, like you said, the best time. Like, the fences are in, hit home runs.
Yeah.
Like, I hit my only home run in life off my best friend. And like,
no doubt.
We still talk about that till today.
No doubt. Same thing. Same thing happened to me. Those types of stories of, it was like kind of, I see how competitive locally it is between these schools, both private and public. And to see what those competitive environments are like in basketball and football, I think it should just be able to carry over into baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know why these schools don't put together a school team as well as, the kids that have to play travel and play these games on a Tuesday, Wednesday night at Olympia Stadium or Goldsby Field or wherever you can, and bring that local baseball feel back. To me, that's why the game is gone.
Yeah. So none of the middle schools here have like baseball teams?
No.
Wow, we had a middle school baseball
No, like I
team.
mean, like all of these kids are gobbled up on traveling teams.
No, all right, so they can't.
You know what I mean? Like any kid that's any good
travel
is. I mean, there's a kid on Jordan's flag football team that just changed from one of the headline teams in town to the other headline team in town, and it is chaos.
Oh.
I mean, it is like melt.
Grown men wanting to fight.
Absolutely,
over.
and that's the problem. It's the issue. Like the kids are like, I'm going over here.
Yeah, I just want to play.
You know what I
over
mean?
there.
Like the dads are like, you son of a bitch. I mean, like, where's your loyalty? Like, it's an
Literally,
easier drive, man. You know, like I mean, but it is. You know, and like somebody's saying, what's the difference of playing basketball year round than playing anything else? You're right. I don't mean to sound like a hypocrite. You know, because look, my son plays a sport, 3/4 of the year. You know, and now the other sport that he's committed to, my son plays football, basketball, and he runs track. And he plays football in the fall, and now he's playing 7-on-7 football in the winter and the spring. And he signed up to play basketball in the spring and the summer. So, I mean, it never stops. You know, whatever direction you go, I don't know, and this would be my only, kind of pro and con to basketball rather than playing baseball is that these injuries that these baseball players are going through as young competitors in college, I think is a direct effect of putting as much pressure on their arm at a very young age. You know, I mean, sure, there is absolute, there is challenges that you face, or there is risks that you take when you go out there and you play 7-on-7 football. There's risks that you play in going out and playing AAU basketball. It looks as if the long-term risks are much more prevalent and much more apparent in baseball just by the amount of the numbers of the players that are breaking down. I mean, all these guys are superb athletes. They're in tip-top shape. They're taking care of their bodies. It's just the pressure that the game is putting on their arm is breaking them down at a very young age. And I think just because of the tread and miles that you put on your arm, by the time you get there, it's not able to sustain. Why Boy G 1028 wholeheartedly agree, Jordy. I grew up in baseball, softball family. I hated to see the death of rec league baseball. I literally grew up in ballparks. I mean, not only did I grow up in the ballpark, I grew up with my parents playing like local
softball,
league softballs, where that was some of the funnest days ever.
Yes.
Like, I mean, they would get there like 8 a.m. We wouldn't leave until like 5 and 6 in the afternoon. And then they would go like to their team's house and we'd boil crawfish and barbecue all night. I mean, it was some of the funnest times of just local getting people together. And I'm sure the ballpark is still like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not trying to dump on the ballpark experience. I'm sure that it is still a fantastic vibe at a ballpark because of all of that. I mean, the sun's shining, you got people running around, there's people barbecuing, baseball's happening, music's happening. I mean, great vibes. But the local, my friends playing our friends, all from one school or all, kind of growing up, it's been gone though. Like that's been gone.
So they don't have like a little league, anything in Baton Rouge that's like,
not that I know of. Like, and I mean, I would think that if they had it, not to sound like a prick, but that I would know about it because my kid is that age. I mean, I'm looking for it. I want to find it. I mean, I would love for him to be able to take part in 15 to 25 baseball games in the spring that he could go play on a night like last night.
Yep.
It was awesome.
And then they picked the All-Star team after. And
absolutely.
You go play All-Stars.
No doubt about it. Like I still remember playing in those. We went down to Ponchatoula and played on an American Legion All-Star game when I was going into 9th grade, and still some of the funnest, like just competitive. And then those were the guys that you would play against in high school.
Grow up playing against.
I mean, it was just all all that might exist. I hope it does, man.
I mean, it does in Franklin. Like Franklin,
I'm sure it does in those little bitty towns.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
Yeah, because my son plays, and he's gonna play from 5 to. Well, he started at 3, so he's gonna play from 3 to 12.
Stephen Miller says Breck has one and Traction has one too. I know that Traction has one, but doesn't it cut off at an age where, doesn't it cut off at like 10? Was my understanding, or maybe like the competition falls off so much because all of the players are cherry picked to traveling teams. So I don't know. That's my rant for the morning.
Yep, it only goes to 10.
It does?
Yep, Tractions.
Yeah. See? I'm talking about like 12 through 15. Like these next 3 years before you get to high school.
Yeah, I had to move to a different field.
My 8th grade baseball,
God.
Dude, that was some of the funnest competition. American Legion fields, everybody could hit home runs.
Yes.
The fences were in. It was awesome.
Like in 7th grade, the summer before my 8th grade year, I played. It was like Dixie Youth, but it was like same thing, American Legion type deal. We went to Sulphur for the state tournament, and we were playing. Like anybody you could think of, North Louisiana.
Hell yeah.
New Orleans, like everywhere, Sulphur. Like they had teams from everywhere in Louisiana, and that was the best weekend. One of the best sports weekends I've had in my life. And it was
doubt.
Guys that I grew up with, and we all went there and played, and it was fun. We almost won the state tournament. Little old Franklin.
But you remember that for the rest of your life. That's about as fun as it can get, man. All right, we're going to talk LSU baseball with Glen West coming up here in just 3 minutes. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois, our friend over at RMB Builders, can get you into a custom design home. He can help you with reconstruction. Whatever you're looking for from a construction standpoint, get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. Best way to keep up with them is to hit them on Instagram. They got great social media. All their projects are right there for you to see. Just give them a like and follow on Instagram. That way you'll keep up with all of the posts. If you want to set some alert notifications to when RMB is posting, that way you can keep up. If you're in the market for a new home, if you're looking to maybe shop some designs and see what's out there, check out RMB Builders. Check them out on Instagram. You can get in touch with them directly by hitting them up at rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. Tell them that you heard it over here on the Culotta Show. All right, Glen West is going to stop by next year, and we talked about Grant Taylor in the news yesterday. Sucks, man, for Taylor, the player, and for the LSU pitching staff to lose a very up-and-coming arm and somebody that was expected to be a part of this rotation or part of this staff in some capacity. We'll talk to Glenn about what the effect is coming up here, as well as opening night for the Tigers coming up on Friday. Make sure and hit that like button, that share button, that comment button. We'll be right back with more programming here at the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Go Chevrolet.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, Get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262. Located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central, Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Tuesday morning. If you don't mind, hit a like button, share the clip if you could, and if you've not subscribed, make sure and subscribe before you get out of here. Click that bell if you want to keep up with all of the programming when we send it out. All right, Glen West is over at Go247, does a great job of covering LSU. Make sure and keep up with all of his work over there at 247sports.com. He is a regular here on the Culotta Show. Look forward to bringing him back into the conversation this morning. Glenn, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jordy. How are you?
Doing good, buddy. All right, we were talking about this story with Grant Taylor. Obviously, there's a lot of intrigue heading towards Friday night, the opener for LSU baseball, this preseason number 1 overall squad. How does this affect the group, losing Taylor going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big loss. I mean, you were looking at Grant Taylor as a potential starter for this group. If not as a starter, then certainly as a significant piece out of the bullpen, maybe as a closer. All you have to go back and listen to any Jay Johnson interview dating back to the fall. And one of the first names out of his mouth in terms of returning players that they were really excited about is Grant Taylor. And so for them to kind of have to undergo this injury. It's kind of a repeating of the past, recent past for LSU. Unfortunately, pitchers have had to go through this in recent years, whether it's Javen Coleman last year, you had Eric Walker a number of years ago, Jaden Hill. So it's not a great, kind of track record in recent years for LSU pitchers to have to go through this, but the expectation is that Grant Taylor will be back for 2024. It's certainly a blow to this pitching staff. I think they, kind of the way I look at it is it's not exactly a season-altering move, but you're left with fewer options now, I think is probably the best way to approach it. There's still a lot of really good options on this staff, but certainly losing a talent like Taylor, who was expected to have such a great year this year, is certainly a blow to the staff.
Do you have an idea of roles yet going into the season? How long do you think this is going to be kind of a figure-it-out period for Johnson and his staff?
I think they're going to roll out a number of different combinations during non-conference play. I don't think they want to pigeonhole themselves into a certain weekend rotation early in the season. If somebody comes on and has a really great couple of games in a row, I think they're going to be open with the starting rotation this year. I think you're going to see a lot of guys get looks in the starting roles. So really the only thing that I think is for certain is that Paul Skeens will be your Friday night guy. I mean, that he can absolutely shove 99, 100 miles an hour on the mound. He's in command of his off-speed pitches and has looked really, really good this spring as well. So I think he's certainly going to be your Friday night guy. And then I think there's a handful of pitchers that you're going to see, whether it's Thatcher Hurd, Ty Floyd, Christian Little, freshman Chase Shores is a guy who has been fantastic this offseason, particularly coming back this spring. I had a chance to watch him a couple times during the scrimmages, and he honestly has looked the most as impressive as any of the others. And I think he's going to have a significant role with this pitching staff as well. So there's going to be a number of guys they try out. And again, I think it's important that you have enough of those big bullets still in the bullpen to help relieve some of those guys.
Second base seems to be a pretty healthy competition. Who do you like there, and who's some of the names?
Yeah, so Ben Nipple, the transfer, I think is a guy that you're going to see a lot at second base. Jack Merrifield is a transfer from LSU Eunice that they got last year. He played a little bit of third base last year, and I think it was probably not his best position. I think he was more suited for second base. He was a Golden Glover at the JUCO level at second base, so he's a name that's certainly going to be out there. Freshman Gavin Guidry is getting a lot of looks at second base, and then you've also got Gavin Dugas, who is a 5-year returnee here. He's a college pro at this point. He's seen it all, and been in every situation you could imagine. So he's certainly starting to get a little bit healthier as well. He had some eye surgery back in November that kind of hampered his start to spring, but last couple of weekends he's been putting up some really good numbers at the plate, and I think he's been a really serviceable defensive player in the infield as well. So they're going to have probably 3 or 4 guys that they trot out there in the early part of the season and see which ones stick. And I certainly think there's going to be a healthy competition there throughout most of conference play.
You mentioned Gavin Guidry, one of these freshmen, these talented freshmen. What do you make of this class coming in and some of the guys you expect to make instant impacts?
Yeah, it's a great class, and certainly not just in the infield with Guidry, but you look in the outfield as well with Paxton Kling. He's a guy that I think you're going to see a lot of in the outfield. Next to Dylan Cruz and Josh Pearson. I think behind the plate, you're looking at Brady Neal as another option with Alex Milazzo at catcher. I think those two are certainly going to have the early grasp of the catching position here in this early start of non-conference play. And Jared Jones is a guy who really just pops at the plate. He's a guy that can really come in and hit. I think he's a good DH option early in the season for LSU. You've got Trey Morgan over at first base, so I don't see him beating out Trey Morgan for many plays. But I think he's certainly going to be a guy that you can rely on at the plate. But I'm really excited about Guidry. I think he's going to be a really kind of change of pace, really quick hit for contact kind of player who can make some defensive plays happen. So you're going to see a number of freshmen out on the field for LSU, and that doesn't even begin to mention some of the pitchers that you might see out there.
From freshmen to veterans, it sounds like Jordan Thompson's had a really good offseason, especially defensively. They're expecting a pretty big uptick in him.
Yeah, so I've talked to Jay a number of times about Jordan, and it's been pretty much the consistent theme that he has come back this offseason and been really exemplary with his defense. And he was a little bit banged up early last year. I think that was an injury that really kind of suffered in his defense, and you could really see him struggle throughout that. But towards the end of the year, Johnson was really, really encouraged by what he saw, the improvement that he saw from Thompson. And from everything that I've heard, he's taken that head on, that momentum head on, and really, really improved this offseason as well. I mean, Johnson's told me that a number of MLB scouts have come up to him and said that looks like a defensive shortstop in the MLB. I mean, he has been that good for LSU in the middle infield, and he was also one of LSU's most clutch hitters last year as well. If you remember some of the big hits that he had to help get LSU some early wins in the season. So I think you can expect some big time things from Jordan Thompson this year.
Glenn, what do you expect from Dylan Cruz this year? What's fair to expect from him?
Yeah, he's a 5-tool player, and look, we've talked to him a little bit. I think probably the biggest thing that I've noticed in terms of his change is just his leadership and his willingness to use his voice. I think that's going to be huge for this team now that he's a junior. I mean, he's really stepping up to the plate and being one of the big-time leaders on this team with his voice. And so I'm excited to see what that side of Dylan Cruz looks like. I mean, everybody knows he's probably going to be a top 2, top 3 pick, and nobody would be surprised if he goes number 1 overall. But I think the leadership that he's shown this offseason has really been something to take note of. And then his defense as well. I mean, Johnson has said that, he's not just a really good center fielder anymore. He's an elite defensive center fielder. And so that was something that Dylan took pride in this offseason. He really wanted to make sure that he was, going to not only be elite at the plate, but elite on the field as well. And I think you're going to see that this year.
Josh Pearson is a name that keeps coming up. What do we expect from the second-year standout?
Yeah, I mean, look, that experience that he had last year, at the end of last year, is going to be really helpful for him. He was a mainstay in the rotation last year. By the end of the season, he got a lot of postseason looks. I think he's gonna certainly be in the mix there in the outfield. I think there are a number of guys that they're going to look at. Braden Jobert has lost a couple pounds, and he's looking a little bit more agile in the outfield, so he might get some more looks. We mentioned Paxton Kling. I think they really like his speed and his defensive instincts as a freshman. But Josh Pearson's certainly going to be in that mix as well. I mean, he was really good for them in games last year. And, he's had a little bit of a slower start, I think, to spring than many probably expected. But, I'm particularly in baseball, I'm more of the wait till you see it on the field, before you kind of make any rash judgments in terms of slumps. I mean, everybody goes through some hitting slumps in a season or in an off season. So I think they're really high on Josh Pearson. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity. And he's somebody that I think you could put in that breakout category as a second-year player here.
Glenn, Paul Skeens is a guy that his name, when it comes up, I mean, it's kind of up there with Dylan Cruz on type of expectation for this guy. Has LSU ever had a type of player like Skeens, and what is a true evaluation and expectation for him going into the year?
Yeah, I mean, certainly nobody with just this 1 year of hype. I mean, you don't really see a whole lot of transfer players come in here and have the expectations that he has immediately on his shoulders from the Air Force Academy. But this is a guy who's going to be a top 5 pick next year, and it's not just because he can throw the ball really hard, but he can also swing the bat a little bit too. I mean, I think you're going to see him in some DH spots this year. I think they're still trying to figure out what the best course of action in terms of him hitting in games is, and that's something that they'll certainly get a better feel for once they start playing. But on the mound, this is an ace. I mean, he's a guy that could absolutely be a future MLB starter, and is a guy that I think they have extremely high expectations for, and has only improved with Wes Johnson. I mean, he went into great detail with the media last week about some of the improvements he's made to his slider. He really feels like that's going to be a good strikeout pitch for him. He's certainly a guy that can throw it, 98, 99 miles an hour when he needs to. But his command of the mound also is really going to be a stellar attribute for this group. And I think you're going to be able to see the talent right away.
Glenn West, remember to read his work over at Go247. Opening night of LSU baseball coming up on Friday night. Glenn and the crew will be over there. Before I get you out of here, basketball tonight in Athens. Losers of 10 straight, obviously in conference play here. Tonight feels like a spot where maybe they could get one.
I mean, maybe. I mean, look, I at this point, I'm a kind of believe it when I see it kind of guy. I mean, it's just been such a long, difficult stretch for this group. I think the second half of that game on Saturday against Texas A&M was the blueprint in terms of getting more efficient offense. I think they've been getting cleaner looks. The last couple games in particular, I think their offense has been at least moving well, but they're just not putting the ball in the basket. And I think the early stretches where they don't score really kind of was a letdown moment for them in that game on Saturday, and they just let it bubble and just overcome them. And so this is a team that's really low on confidence right now. So I think the best way that you're looking at a win is if they can get off to a fast start, if they can see a couple go through the basket, that will certainly, I think, jolt them a little bit. But I can't see this team winning another game until I actually see them do it. I mean, it's just been some really long stretches of poor play. And, you get to a point where you feel a little bit bad, in terms of just the lack of efficiency on offense. And, I can't imagine what it's like when you look up at the scoreboard and you only have 2 points, 11 minutes into the game. I mean, that's just really tough to overcome. So I think that, they're certainly got an opportunity to win this game. I think, certainly this next game against South Carolina as well would be an opportunity for them to win a game. But until they do it, I'm not believing that they're going to do it.
Do you know anything, back to baseball real quick, I'll get you out of here. Do you know anything about the league other than everybody being in the top 10? I mean, who is the biggest giant out there?
It's going to be a slugfest. I mean, I think Tennessee's going to be really good this year. Certainly Arkansas. You can never count out the defending national champs and Ole Miss. I think there's going to be a lot of teams this year that are going to be kind of beating up on each other, just like you see in football and just like you see in basketball, those elite teams. But I think the biggest thing for LSU is just to get out of the early stretch, I think, of conference play. They've got a really tough kind of opening 3 series. But if they can get out of that 7-2, 6-3, then I think you're looking at a really good special season.
Glen West from Go247. Great stuff as always, man. We appreciate the insight. We'll be checking in soon.
All right. Thanks, Jordy. Appreciate it.
At Glen West on Twitter is where you follow him and read his work. Great stuff over at 247, following the program and following LSU athletics. That conversation brought to you by our friends over at Katie's Restaurant. Katie's Restaurant is a neighborhood restaurant for the entire city, located down in New Orleans. They're located on Iberville Street, 3701, right there in historical Mid-City. They do have something for everyone over at Katie's. Great cold beer all day. It is a great neighborhood bar and restaurant, and a fantastic menu selection. There is, like we said, great home dishes, great southern New Orleans dishes. They've got St. Louis-style pizza over there. They also have a sister restaurant that you can check out as well over on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview, and that is Francesca's. That is a sister restaurant featuring St. Louis and New Orleans-style deli menu options. So lots of options and selections for you down there in New Orleans. Compliments of our friend Scott Craig and his crew over at Katie's Restaurant and Francesca's by Katie's in Lakeview. To see the extensive menu from Katie's, it's easy. Just log online, katiesinmidcity.com. katiesinmidcity.com. They've been around since 1984. If you want to get a taste, a feel, a vibe of the city of New Orleans, head over to Katie's in Mid-City. All right, we'll be back. Close out hour one here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here to the show here on this Valentine's Day. Stewie, have you wished everyone in your life Valentine's Day that deserves it?
Yes.
Everybody?
Yeah, well, I haven't talked to my mom yet today, so you know.
This is always a busy day for me. It's my mom's birthday.
Ooh.
She's a twin.
Ooh.
So it's my aunt's birthday.
Oh, that's tough.
It's also my sister's birthday.
Coach, that is like, you're in bad.
Coach, it's a hell of a holiday.
Like, here you go.
I mean, just... and then, of course, married holiday, Valentine's Day. She's not too big on it, which is good. Yeah, but she claims not to be.
And then once you,
you don't get anything. You don't have to get me anything. Like, yeah, right.
Yeah, if I don't get anything,
I'm not falling for the old banana in the tailpipe trick. You're not going to get me on this.
Won't hear the end of this.
I'm not falling victim for this, man. But all in all, in my opinion, highly overrated.
Highly overrated holiday.
You know, one for the restaurants. Here's a free one for you. Mm-hmm. One for the retail, and obviously
shops.
one for the floral. Yeah, I mean,
they get the love.
It's a Christmas day for floral shops, and if you are not shopping at Billy Harriman's, what in the hell are you doing with your Valentine's Day shopping? To think that we can bail you out with a free box of chocolates by all you have to do is mention the show. One of 3 locations, Billy Harriman's everywhere. 272-ROSE is the phone number. 272-7673 is the phone number. You can also click on 272rose.com. Mention the show. Whatever your order is, you get a free box of chocolates. Billy Harriman's has 3 locations. One right here in the Garden District in South Baton Rouge on Perkins Road. Another on Perkins Road out there on Segan and Perkins. And then on North Harrell's Ferry, off of North Harrell's Ferry, in between Airline and Sherwood, you can check out the 3rd location of Billy Harriman's Flowers and Gifts, taking care of you here on this Valentine's Day. And like we said, if you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, if you mention Out of My League with Nick Diaz, they'll throw in a free box of chocolates as well. So help us help you. We appreciate you taking part in sponsors and supporting our sponsors. That is fantastic mark on us. And if you don't mind, just mention that you heard it on the show, and they'll throw in a free box of chocolate for you at any of those 3 Billy Harriman's locations. So right over here in the Garden District on Perkins Road, in between Segan Lane and Piku on Perkins for Billy Harriman's, and then off of in between Sherwood and Airline on North Harrell's Ferry is where you can find all 3 of the Billy Harriman's locations for you. 272rose.com, and give them a call, 225-272-ROSE. If you have procrastinated, if you have put it off like I expected you to do, now is crunch time, and you've got to get over to Billy Harriman's. Tell them you heard it on the show. Get a free box of chocolates. Also, happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Have a great day. Mom, Nanny, happy birthday. Anna Catherine, happy birthday. And happy Valentine's Day to my beautiful wife, Kelly. Take care of them all.
Steve. Yeah, gotta do it all. Yeah, knock it all out right
Happy
here.
Valentine's Day, everybody out there. Get over to Billy Harriman's. Tell them you heard it on the show. Stewie, there is a lot of stuff happening in the world right now, and I'm not getting sucked into the Super Bowl post coverage. I'm over sports right now, and I'm on to these UFOs. Another UFO has been shot down over a Great Lake, and if you're paying attention now, this is 3 over the last 72 hours. Make of it whatever the hell you want. I know I've been telling you that I have been a believer in UFOs and unidentified objects for a long time now. I have been preparing for this. They have been too real for too long, and at some point, they were going to come to the party, and they're here. A 3rd has been shot down over Lake Huron. According to the Department of Defense, The object appears to be the same object that had been detected over Montana a day earlier. The airborne object flying about 20,000 feet above Lake Waters was shot down by an F-16 fighter jet with a missile on Sunday afternoon. At the direction of the President of the United States and based on the recommendations of military leadership, Pentagon Press Secretary Brig General Pat Ryder said in a statement, "We did not assess it to be kinetic military threat to anything on the ground, but assess it was safety, flight hazard, and a threat due to its potential surveillance capabilities."
The alien mom is
More
here.
UFOs. They're here, bro. They're here. They're here.
Trying to find these videos.
Come on in. Happy Valentine's Day. Great sweater. Great sweater. Great sweater. More from the Department of Defense saying that our team will now work to recover the object in an effort to learn more, Ryder said. Earlier in the day, politicians from Michigan said that they were in contact with the Department of Defense about the object. The American people deserve far more answers than we have, Representative Jack Bergman tweeted. The downing follows a shoot down of a cylindrical object by the U.S. military in Canada's Yukon territory on Saturday. This is the third, Katie.
I mean, you called it. You've been saying this now for 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Since we started this show, you've been talking about UFOs, and now it was on the national news this morning, and I was
great to be on the good side.
It is. I was
great
like,
to be on the good side.
how is this like a news story?
Come on over, Stewie. We got a room for you.
I mean, did you ever think we'd be just having normal morning news and it would be talking about UFOs?
No. Kind of shows you where we are in the world coverage.
Y'all, that's scary as hell.
What are they trying to divert us from? Are they trying to divert us? Stewie thinks it's the chemical spill in Ohio.
Yeah, that's weird that that's not making more headlines, right?
Well,
Something's
I mean,
weird about
they're
that.
throwing balloons in the air and they're shooting down UFOs.
So are you saying we're getting diverted from the UFOs? Or
No,
the
I think that the
UFOs are being
UFO is a
used?
diversion.
Okay, so do you think they're
I
really
mean, we
UFOs?
don't see UFOs ever, and we've seen 3 since the weekend.
Yes.
Well, the aliens are very active.
I mean, like,
and they're having a Chernobyl
what is going on?
Like event in Ohio.
I mean, that's a
there's-
lot.
I think there's a nuclear spill in that train in Ohio.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I mean, I think it's like Chernobyl.
Yeah.
It's bad.
You know, I mean, I think
It's
like
bad.
people are just gonna like start faces melting. And
So
stuff.
are we being
I mean, got to get
distracted
Burrow
from
out of
that?
there quick, right?
No.
I mean,
like,
call
come
Joe
on back
right
down to
now.
Baton Rouge, Burrow. Jamar.
You come to New Orleans.
So do you think
Need a
we're being
quarterback.
distracted from that?
I think that we're being distracted from something.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide
What the hell is it?
what it is. I mean,
It's a nuclear spill. It's UFOs. It's spy balloons. What's the distraction and what's real?
I don't know.
I mean, y'all. I mean, we could go down some serious rabbit holes.
we
here.
could.
Speaking of, did y'all see the rabbit hole commercial in the Super Bowl? That's one we didn't talk about. But since I said rabbit hole, that was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Which one?
It was that, I think it was for that Tubi commercial or whatever. And it was the
Tubi.
rabbit. It was going down a
Tubi
rabbit
did it.
hole.
They did it.
It was these big, weird, evil rabbits that came and get you and throw you over their shoulder. And then they all go to rabbit holes and throw the people down. And then it was just about going down a rabbit hole trying to find something to watch. I was terrified.
Tubi did it, though.
Tubi did.
They did it.
They
I mean,
did.
they have everybody talking about
They
their
do.
spot afterwards. Yesterday at practice, everybody was talking about
Yeah.
the Tubi commercial.
Everywhere.
You're still talking about the Tubi commercial. 2 days after the spot. Tubi has done it. They won
They've
it.
done it. Who's their marketing person? We need to find out.
FM Digital Media.
Surprise! It was us the whole time.
But
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about all this stuff.
the UFOs or
Yeah,
Chernobyl?
the Chernobyl
Yeah.
obviously would be a bigger, would it? I guess.
Yeah,
bigger
for
concern
sure.
it's
than
just,
UFOs.
For sure.
Kind of serious.
For sure.
But so are aliens.
The aliens
like,
are just
coming
here to
in.
party, man.
Yeah.
They're not
Are
here
they?
to cause any controversy. They're not here to do anything bad. I mean, I've been telling you all
How do
this
you
for
know
ages.
that? How do you know
Because
they're not
I'm
going
just
to
playing the hunch here. I got a feeling. I
I
got
feel
a
like-
feeling on the aliens.
Yeah, I
They're
feel
not
like
as
they
bad
wanted
as we
to
crack
attack,
them up
they
to be,
would've.
man.
So you don't think they want
I'm
to come over
telling
and
you.
take us over?
The Bama fan base are worse than the aliens. Really and truly.
100%.
I mean, I'm telling you.
Jordy.
We know people directly. You know people like that are in your social circle that are worse than extraterrestrials.
You're right.
Yes.
You're
I'm
right.
serious.
You're right.
I mean, like,
More dangerous.
I would
for
rather
sure.
hang out with, people from Mars than 70% of my circle.
I feel like some of my circle is from Mars. So yeah.
Yeah. Yours
Interesting.
definitely are.
I know.
For sure.
That's interesting, Jordy. Though I mean, this is all really coming together for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, you knew at some point that they were not just going to sit and watch anymore.
But I still don't know if they come in peace or not. That I still have a question.
We come in peace.
If they didn't come in peace, we would know.
I know it. Maybe they've been studying us.
No. They're far more advanced in coming and just monitoring the situation. Yeah. They know what's up. They've been around for a long time.
You think they could have just laser exploded us by now?
Absolutely. I mean, we're at their mercy.
Edward Snowden says it's BS.
Who?
Edward Snowden, the guy that's like a traitor to the U.S. He says it's BS.
What's BS?
Like all of this.
The aliens, the UFOs?
The balloons thing, he says it's BS.
But not the Chernobyl.
Not the Chernobyl shit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just that actually happened.
Well, so why are they putting this out there if it's BS? Like, why even make this a news story?
I'm telling you, there's some type of diversion.
Oh, I'm scared.
Taking us for something. Look
Something's
over
going
here.
on.
So
No doubt about it.
over here.
No doubt about it. It's a circus act up there in Washington.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, come on now.
Put that fake UFO in the air.
I know.
Hurry up.
Shoot it down over the Great Lakes.
Make a scene.
In fact, put spy balloons over Montana now. Right now? Right now.
Make them have China and American parts and really throw them off.
Piss China off while we're at it.
Exactly.
Blame it on them.
That's what we need to do. Make China and Russia mad at us.
Brock TV, stay off the weed, Jordy. I will not.
It's not us. Clearly, this is out on the news. It's not just us. Man, y'all are going to need some weed when we start getting invaded by aliens.
Mark, tell me 4 train derailments in a month. Nothing to see here.
Yeah,
Is that right?
That's weird. I don't know. I've known of one more, but I didn't know there were 4.
I saw one in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. I was informed by an informed friend.
Oh.
Lloyd. He was telling me all about this yesterday. He said he's been doing his research.
Really?
He's got time.
A lot of downtime.
He does have time.
A lot of downtime on death row.
He needs to do a UFO segment.
Yeah, he's been helping me out. He talked yesterday. Had a long talk about the UFO situation. And,
is he in or is he out?
Oh, he's in.
He's
in.
in?
Come on. That's Lloyd. That's Lloyd.com.
Right.
Remember the one movie, though, where they said that, which one? It was the Tom Cruise one. And the aliens were buried underground like this whole time.
Vanilla Sky?
No.
Was it
the Tom Cruise alien movie, War of the Worlds, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
And that was the one where they would Vanilla Sky, where they were buried the whole time under us, like since like the beginning of time.
Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, and then they rise up, from the earth.
She was so annoying. In that
Save the
movie.
world, please, Tom.
Yeah, that was weird. That's cheesy, right? But
Yeah, it
still,
was very
they could
cheesy.
be buried under us, right?
They could. They
I
could
mean,
be
that's a thing.
like underwater.
Yeah.
They're here, though. There's no debate that the aliens are here.
Would you go up to one if
For
one?
sure.
You would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, would you
Absolutely.
try
I'm
to,
going.
like,
I'm
communicate?
playing this thing with no fear. I'm playing this thing with no fear.
See, I
I'm
feel
telling
like
you.
aliens have.
If they
like,
just walked in
shapeshifting.
right now, I would invite him in and sit him down.
Sit down.
I'd offer
Pull that
him.
mic
I'd
up.
offer him something. And I mean, if he wanted to fight, I would try to defuse the situation. Literally.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
You know, but I mean, then if he he took me and did some weird, alien shit. This is the stuff that I'm really trying to sign up for. I would like to.
You want to be abducted?
Let me come hang out with the
For
boys.
a minute. You know what I mean? Not taken away and sent to die and torture.
Yeah.
But, my play is, I have been an advocate of yours, bro.
Yeah.
For a long time. There are a
Right.
lot of people out there that have talked a lot of shit about you.
Yeah.
And I have not been one of them.
They know.
And I have been inviting you here. I have said that this is a warm place for you. So do not torture me in your homeland, wherever we're going. I'm just trying to ride in this UFO. I'm trying to see how y'all live. I'm trying to taste a little of y'all's food. Maybe sample a little of y'all's hallucinogens. What do y'all do? Like, what do y'all get? How do y'all get
Exactly.
down? What y'all's music sound like?
Oh man.
How do y'all
so many
dance?
Questions. I
Are
want
y'all
you to get
sexually active
abducted.
over here?
I know, right?
Like, what's going on?
Well,
Like,
they
how do
have to
y'all
be.
reproduce? Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a totally different way
Yeah.
of life. Maybe that's what I'm signing up for.
Yeah.
Right? I come in peace.
I kind of want you to get abducted now.
I kind of do too.
And report back.
But just bring me back, bro. Just bring me back. Like, I'm not trying to. But what if it's awesome?
I know. You're right.
Can we go back and get a couple of friends or
You're
some
right.
people I want to bring?
Yeah. And stay there. I bet they have no politics.
I feel like it would be like a episode of Rick and Morty.
It would be like that. It would
just
be
going
like
in
that.
space and just hanging out with the aliens, you know.
That would be awesome.
No.
Man, I'm a little I feel a little nervous about it.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Just because this seems like it's really they're really hitting us with this.
I don't know why they're hanging out over the Great Lakes though. I mean, like
water.
come down to the Gulf of Mexico, man.
Check
it out.
Buried
It's much warmer down
a
here.
Great Lake.
Huh?
What if they're under a Great Lake? What if there are some aliens buried under a Great Lake?
What if they take you to like a
I
different
lived on Lake
universe?
Erie for a summer.
You didn't see anything?
I never caught the vibe.
That summer, there was nothing
I never
going
caught
on.
the vibe. It never struck me.
What are our listeners thinking right now? They're like, they've lost it.
Hey, you better start repairing some of those relationships with the extraterrestrials, man.
We're deflecting Valentine's Day is what we're doing with this.
You know, we talked about it. We gave our spiel.
I'm kidding.
What are your expectations today?
Oh, none. I just do kid stuff.
Don't fall for it, David.
No, I'm serious. We're not really into Valentine's. I do
Don't
Valentine's for the
fall
kids.
for the old banana in the tailpipe, bro.
Cooper, of course, threw last minute at me. I need to get flowers and gifts for his girlfriend who's coming over tonight. Same time Sophie's tutor is coming over. So I was like, y'all can just go in this room and just be quiet. And I was like, wait. No, you can't go in there and be quiet.
I'm going to close this door.
Right. I started thinking
and
that
lock
through.
it.
I know. Y'all are all getting tutored.
Hold all my calls.
How old? 16?
He is 15. Just turned 15.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot age right there.
I know. He's a little nervous, so we got that happening today.
Yeah. I'd lock that door too.
There's no people in people's rooms.
Let me show you the new construction on the third floor.
Show you how my new room looks.
I do kid Valentines, but I don't get like romantic Valentine stuff. Do y'all? Do y'all do this day?
I do not. You know, I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
That's okay.
Last
You
year
don't
I just
have to.
just bought some weed.
Yeah.
Did my little thing.
It's whatever.
But,
It's whatever anybody wants it to be.
But like, it's not my day. Like,
Right. It's a lot of pressure.
for the women.
Mm-hmm.
And like women
For the
expect you to
ladies.
go off.
I don't.
Some do.
Some do, yes. And it's like, you know, I'm just hanging out. Like, why can't we just hang out like we were before? Why is this so serious?
I didn't even get David a card.
But it's not about getting David a card. It's about David getting you a card.
Well, I don't think
Do you
got me
expect
a
one from
card.
David?
I don't. No.
Oh, see, I need to find a
Like no dinner, no nothing. It's just a Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, kids
Okay.
have sports. I mean, we got a tutor coming up. I mean, you know, like what the
Yeah,
hell are we gonna
carpool
do?
this morning. Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot going on around
It's
here.
not very romantic, and that's okay. I mean, I don't really
Appreciate the card.
Yeah, right. I don't
bum.
have
Did
a
you get the kid?
problem with that.
Oh, whoa.
Happy Valentine's Day, you prick.
Thanks a lot for remembering. No, I would never.
Cardell,
do
he
that.
is indeed dropping. Sure.
Who?
Oh, read
what
Cardell's
Cardell
comment in
said.
the chat.
He used an eggplant emoji. I really just like the kids to be my Valentines. That's kind of what the day is to me.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Today's like a big family birthday for me.
Is it?
Yeah, like
Who?
my mom. She is a twin,
Right.
so her.
Their birthdays are on
her
Valentine's
sister,
Day.
and then my sister
Which one?
Anna
Really? Her birthday's today?
today.
That's cool.
Right.
So she has the same birthday. No, they're not.
No.
Okay.
So a hell of a day for my dad.
That's right.
A
That's
hell
God.
of a day for my father.
Your poor
I'm sure he would
dad.
not appreciate me talking about this on the
Jeez.
air.
I
but
know,
if
now
you
that I'm
just,
thinking it
if you
through,
just
like-
say it out loud, my
Yeah.
half sister and my mother
Oh, God.
share birthdays.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, like I've never called her my half sister in my life. You know what I mean? But just to paint the picture
Right,
for the
right.
I
audience.
mean,
I mean, it was
what a day.
an epic
Poor
day.
Frankie.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I
mean,
had to
just
say it out
like-
loud to get it, and then I was
just-
like, oh,
Of all days.
yeah.
Of all. Of the day.
right?
There's 365 of these things in a year.
Happy birthday.
And
honey.
one,
But I have to go to the hospital.
the one
Yeah.
day,
God.
the one.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, just,
Okay.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
Happy Valentine's Day, Frankie.
Everybody, right?
What a day.
Right. Hell of a day. Hell of a day.
Man, Graham Kelly's making everybody look bad. He's up early getting flowers and chicken minis to bring to her work.
Damn, this guy, man. He's
bro.
the guy.
And he has dinner
Yeah.
reservations tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
You make
Graham.
us all look bad, you bum.
Man, that even makes me
So he's
look
walking
bad.
into her workplace
Yeah.
with a bunch of gifts.
Chicken man.
Graham,
That
you,
guy, dude.
you better be
that guy.
You better be spread eagling that coach.
Guy.
Yeah, Graham.
If you're doing all of this, it
You're
better
getting
be
lucky tonight.
I'm stealing
Graham.
all those chicky minis off of her desk.
right. Like
Appreciate
get a
it,
couple of
Graham.
those.
Oh man.
All right, not a lot of sports going on here.
No.
UFOs, aliens, LSU basketball tonight versus Georgia.
Oh geez.
If they don't get one tonight, if they can't get it tonight, it's going to be tough. South Carolina comes in here on Saturday. That's their best chance for a win all season long. It was on Saturday.
This is kind of sad.
It'll be a battle of bad. It will be a battle of really, really bad basketball on Saturday. First one is 60 wins. But tonight, LSU is taking on Georgia in Athens. I think they catch Georgia at this spot where Georgia might be feeling themselves a little bit coming off of an enormous conference win versus Kentucky on Saturday. Huge conference win. I mean, the Wildcats had bludgeoned Georgia earlier in the conference schedule in January. And for them to get the win at home on Saturday was a really, look, that was a big day for Georgia basketball. And new coach Mike White, formerly of Florida and Louisiana native Mike White. But
Kentucky's still not ranked, right?
No,
So
they're not.
it's
But you
not
still
like
beat
Kentucky,
you still
Kentucky.
beat the you beat the jersey.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You beat the program.
Exactly.
And you might catch him in a spot where that was an emotional. Think LSU women's basketball versus Tennessee to the follow-up game on Thursday night versus Georgia. Right? Where emotion's so high versus Tennessee, everybody's buzzing, Tigers are playing well, get the win. To bounce back on Thursday night, it was kind of like, like sludge. It was kind of trying to walk through mud. I mean, everything was difficult. You really couldn't get going. It was just, everything was hard to do. And it was because you were probably emotionally, physically just kind of spent. And I'm not claiming to know. I know the mental toughness of Georgia basketball. I just know from a competitive standpoint, that's usually how it kind of ebbs and flows, right? You get super, super high for a game. The come down is something that you got to be able to navigate. And good teams are the ones that are able to do that. Georgia's not good. You know what I mean? Like, it just, honestly, and I know LSU's not either, but this is a chance for a team that has – I thought LSU played its best basketball of the year the last 20 minutes of the game on Saturday night. I know that's – that's giving you a morale win and a loss, and I preach against those and I don't believe in them. But, for as bad as LSU's been all season long, if you haven't stopped watching, which I – imagine a lot of you have done. Even Matt McMahon said, I saw in his press conference yesterday, he couldn't believe that people were there in the second half.
Oh, that's so sad.
Like, he said out loud, I would have left. Like, you had to mention, the marketing department's probably like, gee.
I know, right?
No, don't say that. Don't, Matt.
I mean, like, Coach,
Yeah, that's
we're trying to sell
that's a strong
tickets, man.
comment.
Don't tell people that you wouldn't come. You know what I mean? Like, like if I'm at Georgia, my hype video, that's the opening scene of my hype video. Like, the coach didn't even want to be in the arena.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? But I get what he was saying. In context, out of context, we can make up the story. In context, he was just saying they had played so bad in the first half. Which they played brutal. Texas A&M got out to a 26-4 run against LSU. At one point, it was 26-4. When you saw the score on television, you were like, is this a joke?
No.
I thought they were clowning when they tweeted
And
it.
for as bad as the first half was, and it was brutal, it was bad. As we said, Matt McMahon, head coach, was curious on why the fan base hadn't left. But whoever stayed and watched, which I watched the second half, I thought that was the best offense that they had put together all season long. Adam Miller and Tyrell Ward were at least in attack mode and playing aggressive and bringing a fight to the defense and getting to the free throw line and making shots and knocking down three-pointers, things that you have not seen from LSU basketball at all throughout this losing streak. And if there was anything that I took away from Saturday night was if they play with that type of life and energy and they can score like that, they should be in some games. And basketball is a game where if you're hovering around the number in the last 2 minutes, who knows how the ball is going to bounce? And, there's only so many times where it can bounce against you. And LSU is due. And I know that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Just that, but if you can keep it close, if you can hang around and be around, the total at the end, or just be around, and have a chance to win at the end, then, attacking and being aggressive on offense and knocking down shots like they showed that they could do at least for 20 minutes on Saturday night, they should be able to get off of this losing streak at some point over the next couple of games. I mean, whether it's tonight versus Georgia, whether it's Saturday versus South Carolina, whether it's next week versus Ole Miss in Oxford. I mean, there's just games coming up where they should have opportunity. I don't think that they're going to beat Missouri.
No, but they could beat Ole Miss.
They could beat Ole Miss in Oxford. They could beat Georgia tonight in Athens.
They could.
And they better beat South Carolina at home on Saturday. But, you say
Hunter
that.
Hall just said, who is number one in college hoops?
Who?
Hunter Hall.
Who is?
Purdue.
Bama.
Is there a new poll out?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're number one. I feel
Sweet.
bad for
Nerd.
Graham Miller. We really got everybody going.
Bama's a
hard
basketball
on him.
school.
Bama is well.
The Tide.
They are. They're
Alabama
kind of a football
hoops.
and a basketball school.
What happened to Graham?
Poor Graham, we went hard on him, and everybody in the chat started going in on it too. And he was supposed to have his surgery today, and it got canceled, so that's why he has extra time for Valentine's Day.
She should be bringing
Sorry,
you stuff
Graham.
on
She
Valentine's
should,
Day,
Graham.
Graham.
Sorry, Graham.
Hey, old Graham.
Sorry, man.
So are
Surgery
y'all
got
depressed
canceled.
that football's over?
Yes.
Everybody depressed?
I almost cried Sunday.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Stewie and I were talking about, I mean, we spend so much time bitching and complaining about football season, and I still find myself in the middle of the year not watching a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
See, I watched too much football this year.
But now you can't.
I just hunker down on weekends and just watch football.
But I'm an elitist when it comes to football. I just want the good games.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, I'm like
I'm out on the
SEC,
XFL.
CBS, like that's
I'm
it.
out on
same.
Vanderbilt and
USFL.
Kentucky.
USFL is coming back too, Coach.
That's right.
How are there? See, there's not this many players though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I love the leagues, and I love the fact that they're trying to play minor league football. But at the end of the day, where are you getting your players from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you getting your play? Are they coming from the SEC or are they coming from the Mountain West? Because if they're coming from the Mountain West, I'm out. And everybody that's in the SEC that's worth a damn's in the NFL.
Yeah.
And if they're worth maybe a damn, there sounds like they're in the XFL.
Yep.
So who the hell is the USFL playing with? I mean, did you try out?
Yeah, I could.
At least we have some stories to still watch. We still have Aaron Rodgers. He should be going into his.
He went in
retreat.
last night.
He went in last night.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Wait, 4 days, right?
He's there.
So we've
Yeah,
got
start
4
the clock.
days. So we'll have that to watch. We got Derek Carr to watch, right?
Yeah, he's getting cut today. That's what.
If you were the Jets head coach, because there are whispers out there that the Jets are the leader for Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
The Jets are a quarterback away. No, it's Paul Sila, kind of the bald dude, kind of really intense.
Robert Saleh, the head
Robert
coach.
Saleh.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Nathaniel Hackett might have. I think he was the OC in Green Bay.
And he took the Jets job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, would you, if you're Saleh, would you go spend the 4-day dark, no talking, quiet retreat with Rodgers if that meant you get him?
What do you mean spend it with him? Be in there with him?
Absolutely. I mean, if that's what it took.
I guess if you really want him. Then
I mean,
yeah.
remember,
I'm doing
Vrabel.
whatever.
Vrabel said that he would cut his penis off for a Super Bowl.
Okay. Well,
Okay, that's like deep. I mean, damn.
Said that he was married. Said he had no use for it,
that's awful.
and
I mean,
said that
damn.
he would cut his penis off to win a Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the
Damn.
Tennessee Titans,
Damn, I'd go to
and
testicle.
was like pressed on it,
That's heavy.
and was like, Mike, and he was like, no, I'd probably cut it off
I'm with it. I'm
to win a
I'm out.
Super Bowl.
I'd go testicle.
old is he?
But nah.
Mike Vrabel's, he's probably Brady's age.
Yeah,
he
he's
played
in
with
his 40s.
Brady. He played with Brady and the Patriots.
You
He's
don't
a
wanna-
really
you don't
good
wanna
looking
lose it
dude
at
too.
that age. Yeah, you can't lose your
He's
penis.
a football guy.
But I understand.
No, he's a major football guy.
He's like
he's got the football chin, bro.
Like he was crying after a game because one of the players gutted out playing through an injury. Like he's a football guy.
Okay.
How old is he? Let's see.
So he's
47.
the one.
Okay, so Brady's 45.
Okay. Yeah, I would go spend the 4 days if that meant that I got him. If I wanted to win the Super Bowl that bad and I thought it was going to take Aaron Rodgers as my QB, then yeah. Why
But
not?
are the
Mindless.
Jets? Are the Jets
mindless? If I'm Sawyer, I'm meeting him there. I'm waiting on Rodgers when he gets to the retreat.
What are you doing, Aaron?
I got your I got your iPad when you get out.
Gonna sit here with you.
Why not?
I mean, I'll be right here, buddy.
I don't think Aaron would allow that though.
No, he wouldn't. But just the commitment.
Yeah.
A-Rod, we're in.
We love you.
We absolutely love you.
Yeah.
If you want to extend this stay to 6 days, it doesn't matter. We're all in.
Yeah, you can come whenever.
So now, and we got to watch Derek Carr. And what about Jimmy G?
The market's about to
come to the Saints?
explode for Jimmy G. Possibly.
Okay.
Patriots, maybe.
Possibly.
Is that our next push for the Saints? Derek Carr. It's not happening with Derek Carr, right?
It is. He's getting cut today.
Okay.
So he's going to become a free agent.
Yeah, and the Saints don't have to like trade anything away to get him.
So he could still go.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're interested in each other.
Maybe there's a deal worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something worked out behind the damn scenes. Everything's scripted, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I read 2 polls speaking of about that play call that I thought it was the wrong call, and I know that's
the holding.
Yes.
Katie, it was holding.
It was holding, but I agree with her. It was not the right call.
64% of people that took the poll in the Athletic said it was not the right call.
I
It was
agree.
not
I agree
holding.
with Katie.
And then 55% on another outlet.
I mean, Stu, there's no doubt it was holding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the debate is not whether or not it was holding.
It's about the time of the game.
The debate is
Yeah.
whether or not it was the right call.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
And to me, look, you're gonna get skewered either way.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're a Kansas City fan, you think, how do you not make that call? If
Eagles
I'm in
fan.
Philly,
Yeah.
I mean, how the fuck does he make that call?
Wait, did you see Jabari Smith's story? They were in Philly for the Super Bowl, and he's like, bro.
With the Rockets, Jabari Smith?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, y'all need to go to bed. Like, y'all are outside my room. I got Embiid tomorrow. And y'all are outside my
I'm
room
sure.
beating drums.
I'm
like,
sure.
And he's like, Pat Mahomes just sent y'all home, cuz. Like,
Yeah,
go to
it's
sleep.
over.
Like,
Even if you agree with the call, though, you have to admit, it kind of put a damper on a pretty
Katie.
exciting game.
Katie,
Yeah, what the argument is that I wanted to see Jalen Hurts with the ball down 7.
yeah,
Me
it
too.
would have been great.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Down 3.
Right.
Down 3.
Right.
I wanted Jalen Hurts. I just wanted the last team with the ball have a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that game was I mean, the NFL skates on so much. The fact that the playing surface was not suitable and slippery is still, to me, that's like it's insubordination.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like. So wait, you're going to tell Patrick Mahomes, who is maybe the most marketable player in your league right now, to go out there and play on a sheet of ice
While he's already
with a
injured.
high ankle sprain? Like, what are we doing just to preserve the Rihanna entertainment? Like, is this what this is about?
Exactly.
I mean, the NFL, and look, they got away with it. There's not as much pushback, but the fact that they played on an ice rink for the Super Bowl, the more you think about if we were talking about the NBA Finals and Giannis and LeBron and Kevin Durant and Kyrie and all these, like, Luka are just like slipping and sliding all over the court, and the NBA came out and was like, yeah, well, I mean, we use this different form of wax and shine on the floor, and it just didn't work out. It was just slippery. Like, you'd be like, what? I mean, what if Giannis breaks his leg? I mean, what if that final field goal, Butker, what's his name?
Butker.
What if he slips and busts his ass?
That's the thing. We'd be having a different conversation right now if there was an injury. That was crazy to me.
Not even an injury. Like, if he'd have whiffed.
Yeah.
Like if he'd have, like, slipped, fell, missed the ball.
Well, yeah.
Like, I mean, he had to be thinking that in his head.
Yes.
I mean, because as a competitor, when you're walking on that, you're probably like, this
Yes.
is flimsy.
Well, if we're all staring at it in disbelief, then imagine what they felt
it
like.
looked good, but you could tell.
Yeah, it was shredded.
It was shredded.
It was shredded.
It looked like trash all over the
You could tell
field.
from the play one.
It was
bad.
this is.
Yes.
I would imagine they probably knew in warm-ups.
Yeah.
They were probably like, oh,
Absolutely.
shit.
Yep.
2 years, $800,000, and this thing's a bust.
That's sick.
This thing is a bust. Like, we just spent the last 2 years of our life dedicating it to the turf of the Super Bowl, and it can't make it through warm-ups.
I know.
We're about to put world-class athletes and a rock concert
I know.
out here, and
About to make him play on ice.
and they can't flip a coin on here.
How did that happen? I still just don't get that.
I mean, that's what happened to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
on the end of the game, his foot slipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to
Yeah.
switch. He switched
I mean,
cleats like 3 times.
the Eagles place kicker. I mean, he busted his ass.
Yeah, he did. On the
I
kickoff.
cannot believe that there's not more
I can't
pushback on that to the NFL. At least like from like the Players Association.
Yeah.
Like, yo, are you trying to kill us?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you're trying to portray
Right.
and what you're trying to entertain the world with. First things first, you better protect us.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like you got Chris Jones and I mean Lane Johnson out there on. I mean, they're ice skating out there.
Yeah.
That was, man,
That's
I
wild.
cannot believe that the NFL has not had to answer
I know.
more for. But I mean, they skate on everything. They get away, I mean, they get away with
They do
everything.
get
But
away with
like
everything.
this is something that I thought would be like their own employees. I mean, it would be your own workforce
Right.
being like, yo, this is it. We can't work here.
Right.
I mean, we can't. What do you want me to do here? This is. I'm gonna break my leg. I mean,
It's bizarre.
I've already got, I mean, like this linebacker running downhill at me. Now I got to worry about slipping, busting my ass. I mean, I cannot believe that the Super Bowl playing surface was unplayable.
I know.
Like,
Of
like,
all
say that
the
out
games,
loud.
I know. It's
Like, say that out
stupid.
loud. Like, the Super Bowl playing surface failed.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It really is.
That is amazing.
How are they going to change that for next year? I
They
wonder.
won't.
Okay.
Where's
Yeah,
the
they've
game next
got
year?
to. Vegas.
Where's the game next year? Vegas? It's going to be the same thing. It's the same type of problem.
It will be.
It's the same issue.
But I think Vegas, like they don't have the little.
They don't
slide
have it on a track.
Yeah, it's just like grass. Like
Yeah.
they just service their field.
Right.
And they could close the dome.
I mean, just water
Yeah.
it and cut it, bro.
Yeah.
I
right?
know. It
I mean,
doesn't seem
quit
that
overthinking
difficult.
this thing.
But
man.
I will say no season-ending injuries from this
Right.
slippery
I agree.
grass.
But the
That's true.
mental part of it,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
The mental part of playing a game when the surface is like that, I'm not getting your best. I'm not getting everything that you can give because you're playing a half a step or a step slower thinking, I got to keep my balance. And maybe that wasn't for everybody, but you could see it was for some people. And the fact that those guys got to go out there and think about that that's a crime. I mean, like, somebody needs to answer for that. Like,
Yeah.
that's the fact that those guys got to that game on that stage and had to worry about slipping and falling on the turf is. And look, I'm not saying that the NFL didn't put resources towards trying to make it better, but you should have known there should have been like a 6-month test. If it's going to take 2 years,
That's the
like
weird
6
thing.
months out, we need to know like this isn't going to hold up.
Did they not test it? Like, that's crazy if they didn't,
I mean,
right?
if I know that they say that they spent $800,000
That's
on
so
it.
stupid.
I mean, like $800,000
stupid.
on what?
I know.
On what? On what did you spend 800 G's?
I know, right? Grass.
Like they said, like they like put together a certain type of sod and soil and sand and like like put it all together
Okay.
into right.
I mean, I get that there's a lot to that. I mean, but still.
It's a bust.
Dumb. It was a bust.
It was a bust?
It was a bust.
It's a bust.
Yeah.
Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being here on this Tuesday. As we remind you all the time, make sure and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Please subscribe as you can keep up with the content and know what's going on here as we talked LSU men's basketball tonight at Georgia. Off-season football now in play for both college football and the NFL. So we will be covering and getting you ready for spring football practice as LSU will be hitting the field in a couple of weeks here.
Man, really that soon?
Yeah, I mean, they'll start it in March. At the end of March.
They released the schedule?
Oh, they have not released the schedule.
Are we allowed to go? Are we still banned?
I think we should be getting some good news here, just about access and everything.
Oh, good.
That should open us up a little bit of a lane here.
Brian, we are forever indebted
Yes,
to you.
yes.
Nice. I think I hear
I think we got a little bit of a we got a little bit of a lay of the land last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
We did.
New principal in town.
had to skate around. I love
Right,
it.
right.
See what parts of the building I can't go in.
Is this a new rule?
Right.
Been doing this for a little Van Wilder-ish. Sorry that we were writing our own rules.
Vice Principal Bonnet keeps us in check.
Yes, that's right.
He's always going to keep us in check.
The call off the record. Hey, man.
Look, I had to suspend your
I
kid.
usually don't like making these calls, but I had to call you and let you know that.
Don't come to school tomorrow.
Or the rest of the week.
The rest of the week.
Actually, the rest of the month.
You can tell your friend group they can't come as well.
Exactly.
So
we're okay though. We made it out of that.
Yeah, we made it out.
Right.
Came out on top.
All right, remember to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Big story today is Grant Taylor being out for the season for LSU baseball. He's got a torn UCL, and you hate this for Taylor.
Sucks.
Yeah, we talked to Glen. We were talking to Big Glen West from 247. Who's got a pretty good article, really good article up on it over at 247sports.com. Look, LSU is going to be able to handle this from a depth standpoint.
Yeah.
But what you don't want to happen is you don't want to start, losing this depth, first off, before the season starts. And second off, to injury, right? I think that there's going to be a couple of, as we said earlier in the show, there's going to be a couple of odd arms out in this rotation, in this bullpen, in this pitching staff. Just because, there's only one ball, right? And you've got so many arms. And you've got a lot of talented arms that are competing for spots, not only in the starting rotation, but in relief roles, whether it's middle relief setup guys to closers. And I think Grant Taylor was a guy that was really trending towards a spot in that closing role. So, you're talking about somebody that the staff had identified from a standpoint of someone that they wanted to use in a key isolated role, and now you've just got to find that person on whoever is going to step up. Will somebody? Absolutely. I believe.
There's plenty of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul
There's too many.
Hurd.
Well, I think
Paul Skeens is a starter.
Skeens your
Right.
guy.
Right.
I think he's your ace. He's going to be your Friday night guy. We asked Glen West a couple of during his segment of, what do you know about Skeens? He said, well, really the thing that you do know is that, he's the dude. He's the one that's going to lead the bullpen. After that, I think you've got some guys like, Christian Little, who transferred over from Vanderbilt, Thatcher Hurd, who transferred over from UCLA, Ty Floyd is back. As we said, freshman Chase Shore's name keeps coming up as someone to look out for. Hell, I've even heard, Bryce Collins' name pop up from time to time as a new arm to watch out for. So
and Aiden Moffett, Samuel Dutton, all freshmen, right?
They've got options.
I think Sam Dutton's a sophomore.
But what do you do? How disappointing for Grant, right? I can't even imagine. And then what do you do? What does he do the entire season?
Rehabs.
Rehabs for next season.
He'll go to surgery, and then he'll go into a very intensive rehab. That for a pitcher is, it's intense.
You'll see him in the dugout with the little thing on his arm.
Will he have to come back and play?
He wouldn't have to, but it would
he
be
could
very
go to the
smart.
draft.
It would be smart for him too.
Yeah, smarter to play another year.
I think that people at the next level would have questions of how you are going to bounce back from that. Like what's going to be the repercussions of that. And he could go answer a lot of those questions next year for LSU. And if he comes back fully rehabbed and is 100% healthy and is able to go through next year and shows no signs of setbacks from the injury, then he's on pace.
Yeah.
He's on schedule to what all of these guys ultimately want to happen is they want to get drafted. They want to go to the show. They want to go to the big leagues. They want to go, earn their way to Major League Baseball. And, this is a route, unfortunately, that a lot of, his peers and people before him have had to take just because the nature of the position and the nature of the sport. Like we said, there's a lot of wear and tear on elbows by the time guys get to college.
Yeah.
There's a lot more than there was just because how much more baseball people are playing year round.
Right.
And so this has become not prominent, but it's become regular.
Yeah.
It's become.
It's pretty normal.
Yeah, it's become very normal. So you're right. It's terrible. It sucks for Grant Taylor. He'll have a long, intensive rehab from LSU baseball standpoint.
This might be best case scenario for him, though, right? Like I'm saying, like you don't want to get injured, but you'd rather get injured before the season.
Sure, from a timing standpoint.
Yeah, from a timing standpoint. Just
right.
Rehab the whole season, and you'll be back probably by fall ball.
I just can't imagine the disappointment, though.
Yeah.
Especially being number one going into the season.
Kind of like Mason Smith.
Yeah.
Just being the guy, like knowing you're the guy.
Exactly.
And like, first game, first drive, I'm done.
Brutal.
It's just like,
brutal.
Damn.
Brutal.
I'll never forget that.
I cannot think of a more just tragic, just more of a
gut punch.
Yeah.
Just say what?
Yes.
And you can see it from
no doubt. My eyes went directly to Jamar Cain, and we're talking about Mason Smith, LSU star, 5-star defensive tackle who was injured on the opening drive of the 2022-2023 football season for LSU versus Florida State in the Superdome, and arguably at that time was LSU's best defensive player. I mean, nobody knew about Harold Perkins. Nobody had seen LSU play. B.J. Ojulari was probably right there, in that discussion. But Ojulari and Smith were the headliners on LSU's defense going into the year. And, 10 minutes into the game, he is celebrating a play that he made by pushing Florida State's offensive line into the runner. The runner bounces outside, gets tackled by, I believe, Ojulari. Major Burns. And Mason Smith jumps to celebrate, and you can see it as clear as day when he comes down, he blows his knee out.
I remember we were all sitting there in a row. We all looked at each other. I'll never forget it. No way did that just happen.
Well, Jamar Cain steps out onto the field
and he's
and takes his headset off. And he's like, and you can see Mason Smith walking on the field, and he's like,
nah,
I'm done.
This is
and Jamar Cain's head's like,
fuck. That game, I started it
just lost my best player.
Because of that.
And ended it
like this.
I just lost my best player. Jamar Cain's sitting there thinking
this is bad.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Makai, you got to play the whole game now.
You got to play the whole season. You were a commodity 3 minutes ago.
Now you're a starter.
Now you are a every down player.
No, you're all we got.
And shout out to Wingo because he had a great year. And really, from the drop off on what it could have been, you never really felt it.
No.
That's
scary.
That's as strong as a compliment as you can pay a player from not missing. And I don't mean any disrespect to Mason Smith because you wonder how good they could have been with him.
My goodness.
For how good they were. If you just put him into the lineup and think, my God, just plug and play this kid, and who knows?
People thought.
You probably wouldn't have been able to get your hands on Harold Perkins.
No. They thought
he would have gobbled up
imagine.
2 people.
Yeah, they thought Bear Alexander was good from Georgia. You haven't seen Mason Smith yet.
And Bear Alexander is phenomenal.
Yes.
But Mason Smith is different.
We'll see it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Hopefully he's back, back in that groove.
Yeah.
Because ACL is weird.
Yeah.
It's you kind of don't feel like yourself.
Right.
That's why Odell wasn't the same after this.
It's like the Achilles, man.
For that opener again.
That first time you run with an Achilles injury,
ooh,
you're just like,
I don't know if this is gonna work.
This is not in the. I mean, I have not done the ACL. Thank God, you know. But I mean, I hear it's like the same thing. You're just like, I mean, all right, here we go.
Let's try this.
You know what I mean? Let's see if it can uphold.
Make that cut real quick. I don't know.
Gosh, dude. How brutal. All right, we appreciate you being here. Hit that like button, share button, comment button, and we appreciate you being subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscription, and have a great Tuesday. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Make sure to remember about Billy Harriman's, our friends over at Billy Harriman's. There are 3 locations for Billy Harriman serving you right here in the Garden District in South Baton Rouge. You can stop in and see them on Perkins Road, further down in between Pico and Seagan, and on North Harrells Ferry in between Airline and Sherwood is where the 3 Billy Harriman's locations are. Get in there and use the promo code Culotta Show or Out of My League with Nick Diaz. If you drop that, you'll get free box of chocolates for anything that you order and pick up today over at Billy Harriman's. Today is the day, fellas. You have procrastinated just like I thought you would. You have put this off to the last minute. Now we are here to take care of you over at Billy Harriman's. All you got to do is drop the show's name, get a free box of chocolates with your order, take it home to your lady, and enjoy the night.
Graham Kelly didn't procrastinate.
Enjoy the night. Graham. Hopefully, Graham, you got over to Billy Harriman's.
Graham's about to get that work tonight.
I would
He
recommend
better.
going to
Yeah.
the Harriman's
He better.
on North Harrells Ferry. That place was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
They had so much. It was like a Valentine explosion.
It's like a hospital gift shop.
It is.
Where you can it feels like I
can
have
get
to get all
anything.
that.
Yeah.
I gotta
buy the-
why do I feel like I need stationery right now?
Because it all looks so fun. Like it's just packed full of Valentine stuff in there.
I've got to have this potpourri.
Potpourri.
Robert, I'm going to back my truck up. I need this lamp.
Please take Kelly some potpourri for Valentine's Day and see how that goes.
I am.
Got you this bag of potpourri.
I had to. Smell it. I mean,
take this vase.
I got 2 candles.
Vase with no flowers, just a vase. Take the vase.
It's the square size. It's the square shape.
Oh
It'll never fall.
Either way, y'all have got time to get it
It's
right.
a great spot, man.
It is a great spot.
The one in the Garden District is phenomenal as well.
It is just smaller, but
It
still
is
great.
You know what it is?
Still
It's like a
jam-packed.
Raising Cane's.
Mhm.
It's like you better know what you want,
Yeah.
man. There's not a lot to order here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, but everything's great.
You got 4
so
items
just go
on
in
the
there,
menu.
right? But what I love about the Garden District one is that they help you out.
Mhm.
Like they see it on your face.
Like I'm lost.
You.
Step over here.
Come here. You haven't done this much, have you? I have not. This is what you're looking for. Follow me. Go see our friends over at Billy Harriman's. Have a great Valentine's Day. Celebrate safe out there. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Nick Diaz, 3 o'clock. What else we got today?
Is today Tuesday?
Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
We're gonna drop the Will Wade pod midweek because we hit it late last week with Friday. So we'll get back on the schedule on Monday next week. We'll be midweek here on this week. Have a great day. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.